Hello and welcome to We Know Crypto, where the big names from the crypto sphere tell you what you need to know. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Joining us today is one of the big names from Bitcoin. It's Tone Vays. Tone spent 10 years on Wall Street before turning his talents to trading and analyzing Bitcoin. Now he's got a massive following for his tips on crypto. Please give a very warm welcome to our BTC VIP, Tone Vays.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Why buy Bitcoin? So, I was going to ask for your number one reason, but I think you got more than this. So, how about you give us your top 3 reasons as why anyone should be interested in Bitcoin and look at it as an investment?
Sure. So for me, the number one reason and the most important reason to buy Bitcoin is that it's the first unconfiscatable asset in human history. To the point where the word unconfiscatable still does not exist in the English language. Because we've never owned anything that was unconfiscatable. Everything you have ever owned has always been at risk of confiscation by someone with a bigger gun, either like a robber or mostly the government. The government has the ability to freeze your assets. The government has the ability to confiscate your assets. We're seeing this on steroids right now with Russia. And after Russia invaded Ukraine, they cut Russia off from the SWIFT system, from the banking system. They're confiscating Russian citizens' assets all around the world. Now, I recognized this property as Bitcoin's most important property in 2013 when the Cyprus banks shut down.
Cyprus is nearly broke.
People living in Cyprus are able to use a bank on the island for the first time in 2 weeks.
And just by having a Cyprus bank account, 50% of all your money above 100,000 euros was confiscated by the government to bail in the banking system. This is a European country on the euro. And at that moment, on that news, that's when the light finally went off, because I knew about Bitcoin during the WikiLeaks news back in late 2010, early 2011. I knew about Bitcoin for years, but it was that Cyprus incident. Then we had the Greek banking crisis in 2015, where people couldn't access their money at the bank. We're witnessing this stuff quite often. That's my number one reason. The second property is the censorship-resistant value transfer. You can send it to anyone, anywhere in the world. Again, this is a property that nothing else in the world has. Yes, Bitcoin is not the most private, and yes, it is not the fastest, and yes, it is not the cheapest, though lately it's been pretty cheap to send, but it will get there, and there is nothing technological that can stop it. You can send any amount of money, well, up to Bitcoin's market cap, basically. You can send billions of dollars within 10 minutes to an hour, depends how much of a fee you want to pay. If you're sending $1 billion, you may want to pay a fee. You may not want to be cheap. You want it there in 10 minutes, but it will get there. And there is nothing anyone can do to stop that transaction. These two properties are unprecedented. And these two properties, when they were created by Satoshi created these two properties for the digital world. And Bitcoin has to be only digital, because if Bitcoin had a physical form, these two properties don't exist. Anything in physical form can easily be confiscated. The transaction of something physical can easily be stopped. That's what forces Bitcoin to be digital and only digital. And then the third property is the scarcity aspect. There will only be 21 million Bitcoin. So as long as people find the first two properties useful, the third property makes sure that the price keeps going up, because there's only so few Bitcoin to go around. So it's understanding those first two properties that will make it click that, wait a minute, there's going to be only 21 million of these things. They are close to infinitely divisible. And therefore, as people use Bitcoin and more adoption comes to Bitcoin, it has to go up in price by default. And this was also an embedded feature Because if Bitcoin isn't going up in price, then less people are going to adopt it. And as more people are adopting it, it goes up in price. It's this self-reinforcing mechanism to get people into Bitcoin. Now, from a portfolio allocation perspective, if you're a traditional finance person and you just don't get the three things that I said, you got to think of Bitcoin as an uncorrelated asset to your portfolio. It's a brand new asset class. So adding it to your portfolio adds an uncorrelated asset on a longer term timescale. In the short term, it is correlated with the stock market because they're both private assets of the private sector. So they have the same incentive for people to get into. But it is a brand new uncorrelated asset if you want to maximize, your efficient market hypothesis portfolio.
Yeah. And just on the utility perspective, I mean, do you see the future of Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, and that is the thing that will drive global adoption?
Well, the medium of exchange it's one of them. It's a chicken and egg, right? What drives Bitcoin adoption? Is it medium of exchange or the store of value? I think it's store of value first, medium of exchange second. Because as your store of value goes up, you become wealthy. I mean, look, you're not going to have a $50,000 a year job if you're sitting on $5 million in Bitcoin, right? You're going to find something else to do and you will have to spend that Bitcoin. So store of value drives medium of exchange as more and more people accept it. So that's one thing. But the Bitcoin blockchain will eventually be used as this backbone for other stuff. Like the future, if you do need a decentralized layer for your project. And that's the thing, most of these crypto projects don't need an underlying decentralized layer. But if they did, they would strongly look into Bitcoin. Because the Bitcoin blockchain, if Bitcoin blockchain fails, everything fails. All of crypto fails. If the internet fails, Google fails. But if Google fails, the world doesn't end, right? Like the internet doesn't end if Google fails. Everyone just uses a different, search engine. Everyone just uses like a different company. If Amazon fails, we'll just use a different online retailer. If Ethereum fails, people will move to another thing that does what Ethereum does. If Bitcoin fails, there will be no trust and confidence in Ethereum and all others. So I think eventually more and more will build on top of Bitcoin for that security.
And so interestingly as well, I'm guessing you maybe don't see a date where Ethereum flips Bitcoin, or do you still think that could happen, but Bitcoin still, in your eyes, sits on the top of the tree?
I don't think it's realistically possible at all. I guess it could be possible in terms of price. If, let's say, Ethereum finds an amazing way to lock up 90% of their Ethereum in some ridiculous smart contract, which I believe they could always reverse because they're a centralized company. But let's say they manage to create a smart contract to lock up their 90% of their Ethereum, and suddenly, for a short period of time, people are trading just a small part of Ethereum, and the price of Ethereum goes up because no one can access their wealth. So there are these like edge cases where it's possible, but it's not because Ethereum is better or more useful than Bitcoin. I can guarantee you that.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep a lookout for more We Know Crypto videos with our guest, Tone Vays.